Welcome to Final Fantasy X: The Complete Story. With the release of Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD around the corner, I could not resist covering them first. As crazy as this may sound, Final Fantasy X was in fact the first game of the series I got to experience, hence why it always had a sentimental value. What about you guys? Are you as big of a fan of the series as I am? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as which Final Fantasy games you got to play first. All the information gathered are from us playing a game and the wikis. If we skipped something, it was just so it could flow better. Alright, let's begin. The game opens up with Tidus, a renowned star of the underwater sport Blitzball, playing for his home city, Zanarkand, a metropolis with futuristic technology. During the tournament, a gigantic wave enters the city and destroys everything in its path. Only one man seems to be undisturbed by it, Auron. Auron's been Tidus' mentor ever since his father's disappearance, a man named Jet, 10 years ago. After revealing that the force destroying the city is called Sin, the two of them fight their way through the city. And upon reaching Sin, Auron allows both himself and Tidus to be sucked up into its maw. When Tidus awakes, he finds himself in a temple ruin surrounded by monsters. In mid-battle, he's rescued by a group of Albed, a faction of people who use the forbidden Machina technology. After explaining where he comes from, their leader, Riku, thinking he must have forgotten, reveals that Sin destroyed Zanarkand 1000 years ago. Shortly after, Sin appears and knocks Tidus unconscious. Tidus is separated from them and drifts to the tropical island of Beside, where he meets Wakka, captain of the local Blitzball team. After explaining where he comes from, yet again, Wakka explains Sin's presence is a result of human crimes and use of Machina technology. Wakka leads Tidus to Beside Village, hoping to have him join his Blitzball team and help him win a match before leaving the team and becoming a full-time guardian. Tidus agrees to join and is later introduced to Yuna, a young summoner, and her guardians, Lulu and Kimahri. They all head out with Yuna on a pilgrimage, a secret journey across Spira to defeat Sin. During their trip, Sin appears and destroys a nearby village. It is there that Tidus witnesses Yuna performing the ritual of Sending, guiding souls of the dead to the far plane. Those who die in Spira can leave behind fireflies that, unless sent by a summoner, will become fiends, the primary monsters of Spira. Yuna seems to be the only one who believes Tidus' story, mainly because a man named Jet worked as her father's guardian 10 years ago. Yuna's father, Braska, was the last summoner to defeat Sin. As the pilgrimage arrives to Luca for the Blitzball tournament, Yuna learns of Auron's presence and has Tidus and Kimahri help her look for him. Auron then joins them and convinces Tidus to become Yuna's guardian, just like Tidus' father and himself were to Yuna's father 10 years ago. And that's when Auron reveals that Tidus' father is Sin. Tidus refuses to accept it, as he thought Jet had died at sea 10 years ago. Following yet another attack from Sin, they're joined by Riku, the Albed leader, which later reveals to be Yuna's cousin. Upon arriving to the city of Guadosalam, the leader of the Guado, Seymour, proposes to Yuna, claiming that it would ease Spira's sorrow, but she avoids answering, and instead takes her group to visit the far plane, the land of the dead. They find a message from Seymour's father, who claims he was murdered by his own son to succeed him. Seymour now seeks to save Spira from its cycle of death by becoming Sin and destroying all life. The group confronts Seymour and kills him, but before Yuna can send him, his body gets snatched away, leaving them at the mercy of Sin, who attacks the group and separates Yuna from the others. While searching for Yuna, Tidus makes a heartbreaking discovery. Summoners die after their final summon, which gives him the will to find another way to keep her alive. When the group finally finds Yuna, she's in Bevel, in a waiting gown to be joined with the unsent Seymour. Tidus and his group crash the wedding and force their way through, escaping with Yuna. With all of these revelations, Yuna is still shaken up, and when Tidus tries to persuade her to quit the pilgrimage and live a normal life, though tempted, she simply cannot allow Sin to keep destroying Spira, so she refuses. The group then heads towards the ruins of Zanarkand, where Tidus learns that he, Jet, and the Zanarkand they hail from are summoned beings based on the original Zanarkand and its people. Long ago, the original Zanarkand battled Bevel in a Machina war, in which the former was defeated. Zanarkand survivors became Faith so that they could use their memories of Zanarkand to create a new city in their image, removed from the reality of Spira. 1000 years after its creation, the Faith have become exhausted from dreaming their Zanarkand, but are unable to stop due to Sin's influence. As Jet and Tidus have both been touched by sin, they have been made real and have a chance of destroying it. Tidus is asked to defeat sin as the Faith lost control of it, so they can be freed of the burden of keeping Dream Zanarkand alive. Tidus accepts, knowing doing so will mean he will vanish with the dream. Upon reaching Zanarkand, they meet YEAHHHH, not to be confused with Yuna, the first summoner to defeat Sin, who's been unsent ever since. She tells the group that the final summon is created from the faith of one close to the summoner. After defeating Sin, the final summon kills the summoner and transforms into a new Sin, which has caused its cycle of rebirth to continue. Yuna decides against using the final summon due to the pointless sacrifices and the fact that Sin would still be reborn. Disappointed by their decision, YEAHHHH engages Tidus' group in battle, but she's defeated and vanishes, ending hope of ever attaining the final summon. After the fight, the group learns that YEAHHHH, a summoner who's lost his humanity and mind, is behind Sin's cycle of rebirth. This leads them to infiltrate Sin's body to battle Seymour and Jet's imprisoned spirits. With Sin's host defeated, Tidus' group battles and defeats YEAHHHH, which finally ends Sin's cycle of rebirth, and the spirits of Spira's faith are freed from their 1,000-year dream. Auron, his mission now complete, asks Yuna to send him to the far plane, which she does. Accepting the fate he agreed on, Tidus does the same and says goodbye to his friends as he fades from existence. Yuna, however, refuses to accept it and tries to stop him from leaving, but she falls right through him. And they share their last moment together before Tidus vanishes for good. Having become a high summoner, Yuna gives a speech to the citizens of Spira and resolves to aid in the world's reconstruction. But regardless of being the hero of the world, she feels a great loss for Tidus. Luckily, she may get another chance to see him. Make sure to leave me your thoughts on this game's ending. To me, it's always been one of the most powerful ones I've ever experienced. Anyway, make sure to check out our other complete stories, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and make sure to subscribe for all that's coming next. Cheers, guys!
Never forget them.